Hey, Brandon.
Hi, how's it going?
Guess what this is?
What is it?
This is where we pimp the merch.
Pimp it out.
That's right, over at shopsketchcraft.com. You know, Brandon, I'm told I'm one of the few people on the internet that only advertises their own stuff.
What?
That's right. People complain that we advertise about stuff that benefits us.
Right. Well, I mean, you should be advertising everyone else, not yourself, obviously.
Obviously.
I mean,
I know.
the goal is to make sure everyone else knows about everyone but you. That's the key to success.
Well, let's just, the last thing I want to be is successful, so let's get on with it. So here we go at shopsketchcraft.com. This is where I sell stuff that supports the show. Like this, check this out, like this 80s Turtles tribute print.
Oh, nice.
You recognize
I
these
like
guys?
that. I do. I own those. I own a lot of this. I own probably like 80% of this store.
Yeah, well, that's how it goes around here. So this is where, folks, if you buy this stuff, I can drink coffee. Like that coffee you hear right there. If you got down, let's say Brandon, let's say it was your wife's, let's say it was your 15th anniversary, and you wanted to get her a Sonic the Hedgehog 3-piece that was drawn in color pencil. Where would you go?
Ooh, I would go to shopsketchcraft.com, obviously.
Right, that's what you would. That's what I would do.
I'm gonna buy it now in preparation for my 15-year anniversary. It's 7 years away, 6 years away, but I don't know how many years. I'm bad with numbers, but I'm gonna buy it right now so I'm prepared, because in case I do forget, which might happen, I have a gift ready to give to her or anyone else.
Wow, you spent a lot of time talking about that. We're 2 minutes into promoing Scott. I can't even say my own story. It's so ridiculous. Okay, everybody, shopsketchcraft.com. Let's just get on with the show. Holy smokes. Let's go click it now. Boosh. All right, Brandon.
Yes, sir.
All right, do you have the gift I gave you?
I do have the gift you gave me.
It's a bottle of ass-kicking Carolina Reaper hot sauce from mojada.com. We don't get any money from that, but Brandon has a pizza, and he's going to give it a go right now, here live.
Put it on my pizza right now.
I've been waiting all week for this.
Here we go. Going in my mouth right now.
It's the gift to me. Uh-huh.
Oh, no, Rob. Oh, no. It's really hot. It's really hot. It's like lava and charcoal had a baby in my throat right now. It's too hot. I need to wash it down. I got some soda. Hold on.
Oh, soda? That's perfect. Like some carbonation to wipe down all the scobles.
It's like sugar on top of fire. It's not good.
Happy birthday, Brandon.
Oh, my forehead hurts. Why does my forehead hurt? It's not right.
Bad food and fun. All right. That's very clever. Let's just go here to boom. It works. Brandon, we practiced that, and I think it was better in the practice. I don't think you suffered enough.
I really did choke a little bit there. my nose hurt.
Really? Because it sounded like you suffered more the first time when we practiced.
I think my throat was. Wait, I don't want to. Fuck it, I'm going to say it. I think my throat was ready the second time.
That's the thing, right? Like, you should pretend to eat it the first time, but only eat it for real when we do it live. See, folks, here's the thing. if we practice this and record it and edit it together, I'm never gonna make these shows. It doesn't work. So we have to basically we have to do it live.
We can sell the tears that just came out of my face on shopsketchcraft.com. Those are real.
Well, that girl sold her bathwater. Why can't we sell Megatators tears?
They probably taste like salt and sadness.
Salty sadness.
It really, for those that don't think that I eat things or do the stuff that you hear, I really do. We don't record my end, but if Rob says do some push-ups, I've done push-ups on the cast. I've been on the ground
I make
doing
the
push-ups
microphone on the floor. It's true.
Yeah, and made me do push-ups. Just right now, I am eating things with salt. It's not a lie. I got a bottle right here. It's right here. It's the things. This is commitment. It's like being an athlete. I put my body through hell for you guys.
For us guys, basically for me,
ladies and gents.
It's because it entertains Rob. Like that's basically it.
It does.
So, anyways, Brent, why the hell are we doing a show? I mean, we should just make you eat things and record that for about an hour. One night.
Mega eating.
Yeah, well, they did that, right? Mega epic mealtime, right? Wasn't that?
Right.
That was a show. So basically, folks, what we're gonna do here is I wanted to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 4, Turtles in Time on Super Nintendo versus Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the Hyperstone Highs on the Sega Genesis. This is kind of what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on a video in the background. You can kind of see it here. I'll put a link up. This is to these guys are super dope. They're Itchy versus Vegeta. I don't know. Super nice people. They already put together this video. I'm not going to stream their video, but I'm going to be looking at that while we talk about it because Brandon and I have been playing through this game now for these two games for what, about 2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
And I made Brandon take notes, so
I took so many notes. Yeah.
So the reason I want to talk about this, I basically am going to be doing game reviews in Megavisions as a comic. What I've been working on Game Cave. I'm going to test run that format in Megavisions. And the easiest way for me to do that is to have a conversation about the game and then transcribe it. So I thought Brandon and I could just talk about the game all the way through for an hour. It takes about an hour. And then the two games, and then I'll be able to turn that into the review, the audio from that, versus us typing it up. Because the review is going to be two comic book characters arguing, which is what Game Cave is. So moving forward with Game Cave, any game that we do in there, Brandon and I can do a conversation about, and then I can transcribe that and turn that into a conversation. I just think, Brandon, that when we talk about things, it's more fun when I make fun of you in person than when I just pretend to do it on it. No, it's just easier, I think. Plus, to talk about it. Plus, I've paid for people to write reviews, and they never work the way I want them to. Like, I always have to rewrite them anyway. So I figured this is probably the better thing, right?
Pretend to make fun of me. I mean, I think you pretend to be nice at times, but I think the make fun of is all natural.
That's what I was saying. When I'm writing, I'm pretending. I get to actually do it. Here, the pretending is no fun. It's the actual making fun of you here.
Living out dreams on SketchCraft.
On SketchCraft with my colored lighting, my mocha. I got this granita, this low carb granita, and it melted. So now it's just almond chocolate milk. I could have made that. All right. So Brandon, you have the video queued up?
I do.
So folks, know I'm going to start the 15-second mark. So if you're going to queue up the video, you can just pause it at 0. And then using your arrow keys, tap it to the 15-second mark. And we're going to just hit play in 3, 2, 1, now. All right, so Sega Genesis, Hyperstone Heist versus Turtles in Time on the Super Nintendo. Brandon, did you play these when you were younger?
I played the Super Nintendo version, which I loved. I mean, I played the hell out of it. And I might have been one of the few kids that just played this mostly on the Super Nintendo. Like, it was my jam. I mean, obviously I'm a huge Turtles in Time fan, but I think I played the Sega one a couple times at I want to call it a stepdad's house.
A stepdad.
So I definitely had to go back, and we played it the last couple weeks, and I call it the Turtles in Time light version
Hold on,
because
hold on. So this is a difference, right? So in the Super
yeah.
Nintendo version, Krang steals the Statue of Liberty, but in the Genesis version, they make it disappear using the Hyperstone. And check this out, you're gonna get Rob Liefeld's Extreme Studio versions of Shredder, and he basically steals all of Manhattan. Look at that.
Oh, he's super jacked. Like
Yeah.
he's been hitting the weights hard, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know what's in the Hyperstone, but I'm gonna guess it's some form of tren and testosterone.
All right.
It's definitely steroids. He's
So
super.
the premise I think is a little cooler, where they steal all of Manhattan in the Genesis. That's kind of cool. But then the level starts out on the streets, and well, kind of like in the rafters of New York. Really, they're like on a rooftop.
Right.
And then in the Genesis, you start out in the sewers. So you played the Genesis maybe once or twice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And one thing,
go ahead, Brandon.
go ahead. One thing I kind of like that he did not show is at the beginning you could do two things, two options. One, the color you can do comic book or anime,
Mm.
which I like the anime look on the choice of the Hyperstone heist.
It gives you kind of a
Um,
darker palette.
yeah,
Mm.
and also he didn't turn off back attack, which basically if you leave on back attack, if you're attacked from behind, your character will automatically use his like special behind him, which I hate because I don't like that. So I turned that off, the back attack. So you have to turn and hit the characters instead of it automatically hitting the people behind you.
We have an
So
hour to kill, so you don't have to talk so fast. Uh,
sorry, I'm super
Brandon's super
super
hyped
excited
up on
about
hot
that.
sauce and talking about the, we have a
I'm super
freaking
jacked.
we have an hour.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about here is it defaults to a back attack. When you use your special, he like does it behind
Right.
him.
So if you leave on this back attack thing, it's like it'll automatically if the character comes up behind you, it'll automatically turn around and use your attack on them. I don't know if it's a special, but it's just like it turns you right
Oh,
around.
I
And
see automatically.
it
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
so
annoying.
I don't know if he turned it off or on because it's hard to tell
Right,
whether
right, right.
quick reaction or
You
not.
turn it
But
off.
I turned it off because when I first started, I was like, "This is weird." Like it automatically kept jerking me backwards on the Hyperstone one, and I did not like it.
I gotta be
Um,
honest. I like that he starts in the sewers on the Genesis one, but the backdrop of the skyline's way cooler on the Turtles in
oh, way
Time.
cooler than the brick. It just looks more epic starting out on the high
Why
rise.
isn't there
It's
more
like
of a variety in the sewer? You know what I
oh,
mean? Like,
it's
where's
it's
like the
it
gushing? They should have like those water coming out those sewer pipes.
right. You would
You
think
know,
that they would have had more interactive backgrounds.
or leaking
Um,
like sewage.
Right, just something going on to where it mixes it up, whether it be some rats running in the back or, yeah, like you said, sewage or trash or anything that just gives it some life.
Hmm.
And it just doesn't. It's just plain brick wall. Um, with the character choices, you know, you want to default basically with Donatello or Leonardo just because of their reach and range with their
Donatello has
weapons.
the best reach.
Yeah, he has the
It's not
best
even
one.
not even
Um,
close.
Raphael's probably he's the fastest character in the game as far as speed, but his attacks are limited because you're only using your psi. And as far as attacks, you can use slide the whole game if you wanted to. Like that's a negative to this. If you wanted to, you could literally slide the whole game and
On
take
which
out
one
everybody nonstop.
on which one?
Either one. You can do it on
Either one.
Hyperstone mostly. It's the easiest. But on both games, you can do the slide attack through the whole thing.
Hmm.
But the Hyperstone one makes it super easy to use. Like if I wanted to, I could have played the whole game just sliding down the screen, just the whole thing.
I never think to game systems like that when I'm playing games, you know? Like I tend to
Hmm.
just be fairly straightforward with it. So I'm always like, really? You can do that? Like you could just like on Mario 3, you could just fly up the level and skip everything? I never would have thought about that. So
Right.
so this, you know, like oh let's talk about something else. On the Turtles in Time, you can do that cool thing where you throw characters into the screen. Obviously with the Hyperstone Heist, nothing like that going on there.
No.
Also, I'd like to say this is something that annoyed me. When you get the power up, Donatello just did that spin attack where he spins around. I
Uh,
really wish you could save that, save those power ups, and then use them because it's like they put those power ups, and the only thing you can use them on are just immediate enemies. You'd like to be able to use them on a boss or something.
right. Save them up and use them
Yeah,
later on.
yeah. I really wish that they, and neither version lets you do anything like that. So here he's going back down in the sewers. Now here's a little notice. I see now Donnie's running on the water, but there's no like water being slicked up or nothing.
Yeah.
No water splashes.
There's no traction whatsoever. You don't get the sense that you're actually in water. You just look like he's on a psychedelic ground.
Right.
And the Super Nintendo version, just looking at it, the colors, the vibrance, like it's so much. When you see a brighter game like this with characters like that, it just makes it more fun for me. Like, I mean, I like dark games if the character's like Batman or if they're in the sewers, but like just seeing the brightness and the vibrance of
you see
everything.
those pipes on the Hyperzone heist?
Yeah.
Those pipes should be darker because they're in the foreground. They're brighter
Right.
than the elements in the background. You know, so you don't really get a sense that it's in front of them. It's like it's competing. Although look on the Hyperzone heist, the Raphael, the little like logo at the the icon where he's blinking,
Hmm.
where it says press start. On the right, on the Turtles in Time, it's more like an 8-bit version.
Right.
It's like a limited color palette, and then he's actually got like white eyes. I mean, it's a small
And
difference, but you know.
yeah, and a couple of these videos I watched, everyone kept calling the Hyperstone the light version of the Turtles in Time.
That's because
You
it's a
know,
shorter game. So
is that is
the biggest difference between the two is that Turtles in Time is like 10 stages. They added 2 stages from the arcade port to the Super Nintendo. Hyperstone
uh
Heist is like 4 or 5 stages, but they're longer. That's sort of how they made up the difference. However, like you're just beating dudes up forever in the same background. Like having
yeah,
shorter levels helps with the brawlers, so you get more variety. I think. I'd rather have shorter levels, with a more variety of characters and longer levels and less. Like, so the first boss here, on the Turtles in Time is fighting Metalhead.
uh-huh,
This is a little interesting. He's getting the first boss is Leatherhead, Metalhead, Leatherhead. It's funny.
yeah,
Um, I thought with Metalhead though, he should have access to all the characters' special. Like he should be able to use a bow staff, the katanas, the
right.
nunchucks. You know what I mean? He should be like a
You should have the
composite of all of them.
database of all of them,
He should be a composite. Mostly, he just has some guns in his chest and he does some kicks. Doesn't
which
want
is weird because none of the turtles use guns,
right.
But they needed just something to shoot out from the character to match it. But he's getting his butt kicked on the Super Nintendo version.
I always thought too. They always yell "cowabunga" after they beat a level, and it would
Uh-huh.
have been cooler if each one had their own thing that they said. Like one said bodacious, one would say radical, one could say tubular, one Michelangelo could say cowabunga.
Right. Um, as you see on the Hyperstone on the left, each like color foot soldier has their own like attack, which I think is really cool. Based on the color, they have a different weapon or attack and specific attacks based on their colors. So you kind of prioritize how you hit people or attack people. So if you know it's going to be one of the ones that can only punch, you just kind of avoid them for a bit compared to the guys that throw the shurikens. You go right at them so you can stop them from throwing the ninja stars. So I like that they mix it up, so you can kind of get a feel on who's attacking you.
No
And it looks like they do it on
flamethrower
both.
foot soldiers, right? they should
No.
they should have a flamethrower. I like how the Mousers just show up out of nowhere with the little rockets. They might
You
be my
know,
favorite enemies, the Mousers.
yeah, I was gonna say like those damn Mousers, man. Those were the most difficult part. Like as you could see, he's getting ran over by them. I'd say each time I played, that was the most
I like
challenging part was the Mousers.
I like the rainbow looking background on the Turtles in Time in the Sewers with the little
Uh-huh.
reflection. It's got that like pastel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks cool.
And then you got the what is it? The Ripley Scott aliens coming out of the
R-
sewers here.
Ridley.
Ridley
You're
Scott.
thinking
That's
Ripley from the film. I
I'm
know.
thinking Ripley
I
from
know.
Alien. Yeah.
I know. Yeah, a lot of
And
people call
it's
them like pizza monsters or something, but I don't
I
know.
have no idea. I mean, I'm a longtime Turtles fan, and I don't remember those looking aliens on anything unless that was in a Dimension X type thing that I missed. I was just like, why is there these aliens coming out of the sewer?
Might have been. I'm not that familiar with. See, like here with the cartoon. So here's a mini boss fight with Rat King, which this was
Hmm.
added to the Super Nintendo version. It probably should have been like Killer Rats or something. He's a Rat King. Where's all the rats? He
Right.
should be sick and like murderous rats on you.
Instead of everything being projectile.
Yeah. I mean, they put the toy in there, which is,
Which is cool.
It's cool.
And I like the little shading underneath them. It's just, the variety on the Turtles in Time is just you've already gotten two cool villains compared to the one over on the left, and you're still
when you're fighting this many foot soldiers, you basically need it to be 2-player at a minimum. I mean, both these versions only support 2 players; they don't support 4 players, unlike the arcade game. So, but
right.
if you're just beating the shit out of these guys by yourself, then like it's a lonely life, Brandon.
Oh, you had me play this the last couple of weeks, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, man, I'm kind of feeling bad for all these foot soldiers. They're like stormtroopers at this point. You know what I mean? Like some of these guys just came into work and they're just like, yeah, I'm gonna do my job, and I'm just beating the hell out of them.
They're robots, though. It's a cartoon version, so they don't.
That's right. They explode.
I just like how so the foot soldiers are robots, but they look like dudes. But then there's actual robots that look like robots. Like you know what I mean? Like there's just not a lot of. I mean, I know why they're robots, so that it's a cartoon. They can beat the shit out of robots instead of people. But I'm just like, well, why would you create robots that don't look like don't look like people? Like, why would you?
So they know their importance in life.
Yeah, and is there like a hierarchy amongst the robots? They're like, maybe
the red ones sit with the red ones at lunch. The blue ones sit with the blue ones. They all talk shit.
And then the wheel ones, are like, we hate him, eat shit, and I don't know, eat shit and die.
Right.
And then the Mousers are just
the Mousers send mean emails to everyone.
Mousers are just looking at the food.
Shit.
They're not even like paying attention. They're just staring at all the food.
Yeah. As we look at the Turtles in Time one on the right, I like how when they pop out of those windows, it leaves the cracks, the open circles.
There's a lot more interaction with the backgrounds on the Turtles in Time versus Hyperzone.
Right, and you have all that not TMNT, the TCRI. There we go, going on in the background. Looks like in the tubes, the ooze.
But see, if there's mutagen ooze, it'd be cool if you could instead of throwing them at the screen, you can toss them at that, and then they mutate into they inadvertently mutate into worse creatures.
Right.
And I guess they would mutate into turtle creatures because you were the last thing they touched. That's how it worked in the cartoon, right? It was whatever the last touch you turn into, basically.
Right.
So here's a little. So this whole level, this Technodrome level on the Turtles in Time, is also an addition to Super Nintendo, and then they added in Toka and Razar. Clearly, not the same animators on Toka and Razar as say the original game. They're a little stiff. Look at Toka. He has no neck and shit. He's like,
he's all shoulders. He's all
look at his
shoulders.
Underwear, dude. He's got a little green cod piece. I guess he's got a Toka dick, right?
It looks like they need to get the super buff shredder from Hyperstone to get these guys into the gym to get them going because
Razar looks cool. He looks like a Skeksis though, doesn't he?
A little bit,
right, from Dark Crystal. Yeah.
And you see on the left, Hyperstone. They could have some bats going on in the cave, or just something more interactive than the stuff falling. Like this one, you got the lights blinking in the back.
Or even remember the drills in the game? They had those drills. The techno game, the foot. They had those drills could pop up from the ground, and I don't know, something. This elevator sequence in Turtles in Time reminds me of that scene in Episode 3 where they go up the elevator. Right, I know, right? I'm the only person in the theater who's like, they stole this from Turtles in Time.
And it goes on for a while. It's like a never-ending elevator where you're just you're never getting off this thing.
The Rock Lords are cool guys. Those are, that's not called Rock Lords, but that's what I would call them. Those were GoBots. GoBots and the Rock Lords. It's some older shit, Brandon. I don't think you even know that. So they go up these different levels. And they beat those little. Rodney. Was those Rodney the robots? Rodney. There was a name for those robots.
There was a name for every one of them.
Oh no! Here we go on Hyperzone. You're fighting Rocksteady.
He looks like he's been hitting the weights. He looks good. He's got.
Is that your goal to get Rocksteady big, Brandon?
I want to get more Spider-Man skinny, muscular, like an acrobatic.
Really? You?
That'll never happen. So I'll just have to get Rocksteady big, and then You
I
know,
don't think your wife would
less
appreciate a thin dude.
more Rhino. Yeah, she likes her big boys.
Yeah.
More Rhino than more Warthog is what I'm going for, I guess.
There you go, Brandon. There you go.
Yeah. So it's when you have me eat lava pizza before the show, it's a plus, because then the wife goes, yeah, look at them love handles. I'm gonna hold on to those.
Speaking of lava
So it
pizza, it
works
would have
out.
been nice if there was different types of pizza in the game that gave you like bonus effects.
Right.
I was like, this is also added. I mean, this whole level's added, but you get to fight Shredder here. Now this is kind of cool because this is like the second level
Mm-hmm.
where you're on Hyperzone, in Turtles in Time, where you're already fighting Shredder. Which is cool because normally you have to wait till the end of the game.
Right.
Yeah. This is
Uh,
see again though. I think Shredder should be like the parts that are closest to you should have a dark palette, like some kind of dark shade.
right. So he doesn't blend in so much, but it's still cool. I mean, it's like you're in the actual show or movie, with the whole pop out. I like it.
And I like how that
It was
screen's actually animated. The
yeah.
dimensional warp is actually animated. Now on the Hyperzone heights, you can see those clouds don't even move. There's no like
No,
sea sparkles, no seagulls,
no.
no turtle blimp.
And
No.
see, it was a while since I played this, so when I beat him right there, for some reason I was like, "Is that it? Is that the end of
Right,
the
you
game?"
think the
Like,
game is already over,
yeah, I'm
and
like,
then it
"Shit, that was easy. I won. I'm the
throws you for
best."
a loop, and you're like, "Oh no, there's more game." Yeah,
You're
that
only
initially
halfway
happened in
through.
the sewers where you fought Rat King in the arcade version, if I remember right. You get transported. Like Shredder shows up out of nowhere, his head shows up and then just transports you back and back. Now this is where I thought they all lost the opportunity. No game has ever put in Triceratons, and I don't know why. There's my favorite villains other than the Shredder in Turtles comics and
Oh yeah,
cartoons.
when they rebooted not this newest version, but the CGI looking Turtles cartoon, they had them in there in the last season, and they were great.
Right.
They had their ships and I don't want to say the name because I'll say it wrong, but they had the dinos in there, and they were really cool.
Triceratons.
There you go,
Yeah,
Triceratons.
like, they got those little like dinosaurs dropping shit on Donnie, which is fun. It'd be cool
Yeah.
if there was like a nest of eggs and then like little raptors came out and you had to fucking beat up the raptors. Bush bush.
The cool thing with the in time version is you kind of where you're at. You're in a prehistoric dinosaur age, but with the left, Hypersonic, I'm guessing you're in China or
Now that's the thing. If you stole New York, Manhattan, and you have to get Manhattan back, why are we going to China? Like, there's just no
right,
rhyme or reason to the flow of the levels, right? There's no like world map. Like what if he took the stone and busted up into 5 parts, and then they had to go around the world and collect the stones? And
right.
it really sort of. I think the game was probably made in like 6 months. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like no one really thought. Like look at that backdrop there on Hyperzone. It's just empty dirt. And now, I mean, I played both of these, yeah, when they came out. Hyperstone, especially, I thought the box art for Hyperstone was way better than Turtles in Time. I really love it. It's this blue-green thing. Uh, and I got this at Blockbuster. I remember the night I put that thing in, and we were like, "This is awesome." It's okay. You know what I mean?
It's not. This will do.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if you want like In-N-Out burger, but instead you're like, I'll get Burger King.
Or
It'll
your parents brought you home Burger King, and you're like, "Well, I'm not gonna turn down, you know, short order."
right.
Look at the way that the heat they had those little like heat wave effects on turtles. Look at that turtles in time.
Yeah.
They had those little like heat wave effects. It's pretty cool.
We're obviously a little more biased for the Turtles in Time version.
I'm being perfectly like unbiased. I don't have a bias. I do like that. See those like blades at the top, the hypersonic.
Yeah.
I just think that there's no structure to why these things are happening. Like it says heist. I would like to be heisting things.
Right.
Like actually sneaking in. Like maybe part of the level is getting in and then you get the thing and then it's twice as much to get out. You know what I mean? Or
Right.
there could have been cutscenes where they got in and then they had to steal the stone and then everyone's like fighting you to get out. So it says heist and I get like it's because Shredder stole that, but it would be cool if you were actually in the heist.
Yeah.
Or
And
you needed to steal the Hyperstone to get Manhattan back because he used some other technology. That is cool. They breathe fire. So I'm okay. I take it back. There are flamethrowers. I forgot they breathe fire. You got me on that one. Now that candle would have been great if it caught on fire on their clothes, started torching them. Oh, look, they added slash on Turtles in Time.
Yeah, which I mean, he doesn't look very well animated.
No, his clearly the custom characters for this game were made by different artists from the original arcade game. Clearly, like one is like, really well done, and the other one's sort of like the
clip art version.
I want to say, was that Windows Paint?
Yeah, that's what I'm going with. It's a very MS Paint. MS Paint.
Yeah. I do like the Shredder Mount Rushmore in the back.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
See, I think on the left, the Hyperzone, they could have had that as Shredder, samurais in the back,
Or if it was all taking place like in like a Little Tokyo, like Big Trouble in Little China, where they're starting in the sewer, or they have to start in the sewers, and then they go up into like the streets, and then they have to like break into like a building, and then they could have just stole the whole structure to Big Trouble in Little China.
Turtles in Tokyo heist, Turtles Tokyo heist.
It could just be called Hyperzone Heist, or Big Trouble and Little Turtles. I don't know.
Big Trouble in Little Shells.
So I don't know, guys. This is where you have to actually. We weren't getting paid to figure that out.
No.
But I do think that would have been much cooler. Like those they have those Hokusai paintings on the background. Those paintings of like the waves and stuff. Would have been awesome if the things popped out of there and you could fight it.
Right.
Like look at that 8-armed shredder back there. What if that was a robot? Like lasers are popping out, shooting around. You could have jumped the lasers. I do like you could fight Tatsu. I think this might be the only time you ever fight Tatsu from the films.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you ever fight Tatsu in another game.
No.
Was he in the? I can't remember if he was in the fighting game. I can't remember.
I want to say yes, but I can't remember if I'm just hoping he was.
You go dig it up, Brandon. Go find out while I talk about some of this. So I like there's those little like on the pirate ship they put a little like foot soldier like barricade to keep you from falling off. It's funny. Now look at that pirate ship back there. The cannons are coming from the background and firing into the foreground. That is awesome. And you see how the water moves, unlike on the Genesis version. It probably just has to do with the limited amount of parallax. These are all just technical limitations of each platform. So I'm not I'm not an expert on that, but I do know that there's Super Nintendo could display more colors. That's a given. These stalactites are super lame, though.
No. Tatsu was not in it. You got Wingnut, you had War.
But there was 2 fighting games. There was Tournament Fighters, and then there was the one on the Genesis, which I felt was the better game because Casey Jones was in it. Go look up. You looking at both?
I'm looking at the Super Nintendo one at the moment.
Yeah, go look up the Genesis one. Now, what is this? What is he? Oh, so these are like frisbee spikes. This is dope. I don't know what the hell that is, but that's pretty cool. Yellow dudes are throwing frisbee spikes. And then now you're fighting Leatherhead again. So that's a bummer. Always fun you got to fight the same bosses over and over again.
Yeah, it looks like Casey Jones might be the only difference. He wasn't in the Super Nintendo version.
No, so anyway. Now, I do think this was a missed opportunity. These rock dudes could be using super scopes. Right?
Cross promotion right there.
Right? Now, this is fun. Bebop and Roxy are wearing pirate clothes. Now, they're clearly being drawn by the new artists, but it is cool. Look at his little feet. He does a
right.
I like how the blade crunches up when you hit him.
Yeah, one thing to think about, too, when you're playing through this, if anybody else decides to play through this, you get 1 point for every enemy destroyed, like all the foot soldiers and everybody. And the more points equals the more lives you get. So if you're playing it like on hard, you're going to want to really make sure you're crushing as many enemies as possible just so you can get all those points and lives. But, you know, if you're on the normal mode, it doesn't matter
Did you
that
ever
much.
really play for points?
No,
No, I mean,
I never did.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a lot of people that want that, you know, achievements or whatever you want to call it now, but they want those. They want, oh, I got this many points. I got that many points. So,
If I
you know, my
remember
little
right,
brother does that.
the only thing you get on this game, either one of these for beating it on hard, is I think at the end there's a question mark. If you don't, like Splinter just has like the end, and then when you
Uh-huh.
beat it, the question mark goes away. Like that's it.
Yeah.
You know, so it's sucks. So yeah, so he just had to free fight Leatherhead, Rocksteady, and Tattoo twice.
Yeah.
And
In
man,
different outfits. They got
that
different colored
is.
outfits.
See, that's where I remember that annoying the hell out of me when I was a kid. I was like, really already? Like,
All right. I beat you, but I changed my outfit, so I'm ready to go again. Round 2. I got on a red shirt now.
yeah,
I'm much stronger when I'm in my red shirt.
they're padding out that game.
Yeah. There's not much going on the screen right now with it, but something else that popped in my head is when you have things in the background, make sure you blow up all the bins and the barrels and any kind of like background objects that'll take out the enemies. I really like that, you know, that you could hit the boxes or the bins and they blow up and it damages the enemies.
That's always fun, especially when they can like time a little bit, like they kind of blink, and then you can like
Yeah.
sort of like you want to like lure an enemy and then jump right out the way. Otherwise, like
Yeah,
otherwise
it
you
just
just
makes
kind
you
of
feel clever. You know, you feel slick. You're like, yeah, I timed that perfectly. But, you know, video games now, everything's
now. Do you know
interactive for
how
the
I
most
used to
part.
play the game, Brandon?
How did you play it?
I used to just turn the TV to black and white and play it like the original comics. I would play the game in black and white.
I'd like whoever's watching this, if you're sitting through this, please comment if anyone else in this whole entire world did the same thing. And I'm going to guess no. I'm going to guess you might be the only one to do that,
It's
except for
true.
maybe someone who's colorblind. I've just
And I
seen it.
would have preferred if they had a black and white mode where they just had red bandanas, but
Yeah, I mean, that would be cool.
yeah,
I'm not denying that, but I'm saying this probably, what year did this come out? I forget.
92.
92. I was only 7 years old, so I would have not thought to turn my TV to black and white. I was just lucky someone else could probably hook the system up to the TV for me if I didn't know how. I mean, I probably did, but yeah, you were probably 13, give or take.
Yeah, I was in high school, freshman
Yeah.
year.
So, you know, to turn the TV black and white, it makes a little more sense now.
Yeah, it's a little more mature than Brandon.
Yeah. Well, you know, back then, weren't all TVs already in black and white?
Well, there you go. No, life was just in black and white. They were in color.
Right.
So people actually thought that. Uh, so here's where the comic book version of me would get all. Look at the shredder though. He totally looks all extreme studio.
Oh, he's
Liefeld never
super.
drew the turtles, right? God, I would love to see
Not that
that.
I know of, but if he did, you know, that's why Shredder didn't have any feet in that picture
Like
right there.
Chap Yape. I want Chap Yape. I want Mara Michaels. I want Then I want Stephen. I wish I could go back in time and just get that. I wish I could go back in Turtles in time and have the Extreme Studios guys in their prime do a Turtles comic and everyone freak out when they totally mutilate drawing animal creatures.
Oh yeah, even the pizza would look like it's on steroids. You'd be like, "What's wrong with that pizza? The pizza's on steroids, obviously. Look at that thing. Pepperonis and meatballs like giant is their head."
Would have been awesome if they could fight a pizza. They never fought a pizza.
Right?
And plus too, like something else that used to bug me is there was all these toys. There was a toy where you could actually shoot pizzas out at enemies.
Uh-huh.
Did you ever have that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Like you never like on one of these driving levels. I'm like, how come you never get to actually drive that thing and shoot pizzas at enemies?
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That would have been fun to have a driving level. Shooting off
I mean,
in the
there's these hoverboard levels, which Turtles in Time has the best ones. But this guy's no good at this game. Like you should not be having to redo this level.
No, that I know that this is what's taking a little longer. I was like, man, again, I don't think one time I had to like restart a level on this whole game. Like I played it all the way through. It took me about, I'd say each time about 45 minutes, 40, 44 minutes, 42, give or take. I'd say the average time for this, if you're going to play it all the way through without stopping and not dying, is 44 minutes. That's what I'm going to go with my average time for that. So you could quote me on that. 44 minutes. If it takes you longer than that, you're messing up. So
this was also, I mean, I know they had no way of doing this, but it would have been cool if, like, say in the Japan version, Usagi Yojimbo's in there, you know, or on this cowboy level. What was that? What was that cowboy game? They ended up making Konami made a game of that. It was a cartoon with like bulls and steers and stuff, where they're like cowboys. Moo Mesa, the Cowboys of Moo Mesa. It's a good game. I like that horse in the foreground where the foot soldiers are riding horses. It's hilarious. They need the hats. Like, you can knock the hats off them, you know?
Yeah.
I like how those foot soldiers are going down the trash chutes.
Yeah.
Like, how did that work out on the Technodrome? Like, did they get the call and they're like, let's jump down the trash chute?
Yeah.
Like,
they knew where to go. They're robots. They're programmed. They got
is
GPS.
It like the Goonies slide where, like, they're going down? Whoa, you know? They could have just took an elevator, but they all, like, went down the trash chute.
Fastest way, man. They have GPS in their programming.
That guy took the elevator or the transporter.
He's the smart one.
Is he transporting, or is he just like? Is it like dropping in? Like
I'd have to, it's hard to tell. He drops and then he kind of hits the wall like he's a little drunk. So I'm gonna guess he teleports because he looks a little disoriented. He kind of just hits the wall like, oh shit, man, I got here quick.
He's gonna pop up and turn you into ice.
One thing that they both have going for them, they got a nice techno synth rock music throughout the thing that just keeps it kind of fast paced, at least.
I cannot play, like, if I play the music or the video, you know, I'll get the music will get taken down, and then these guys
you can't play the music or the sound, but
crank up the music if you're watching this at home.
Yeah, if you're playing it, definitely rock out to it. Just enjoy it, you know.
Look at all the weird skeletons lying in those tubes.
What is that? Is that where they build the foot soldiers? I'm guessing with the creepy dead soldiers.
So the foot soldiers apparently have robotic endoskeletons. And no legs, just spinal cords.
What's the difference between endo and exo?
Oh, exoskeletons. Oh, exo's out, endo's in there. I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, that's only Jim Cameron knows.
Learn your skeletons.
People go, it's not an endoskeleton. It's the insects have those. It's an fuck off. I don't fucking. Do I look like a scientist? Like, I like that spin. I like that spin. The Raphael does that. Whoa, spin. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I like the facial expression. That's worth getting hit over, just to watch that a few times. See, now you should be able to, like, throw a dude or, like, jump up and kick. If I know they can't do the parallaxing things on the Genesis with throwing dudes into the camera, but if you jump and kick, it'd be cool if you could interact with those elements.
Well, with the Genesis, it's got a weird XY axis kind of thing where if an enemy is standing right above you and you do your hit, you're still going to hit them for the most part. Or if they're standing right below you, depending on how close they are, you still hit them.
Yeah, so the hitboxes are a little
off. Yeah, it's more.
By the way, I love the 3-sectional bow staff. See how they got those 3-sectional bow staffs?
Oh yeah,
the 3-way nunchucks. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the 3-way nunchuck. The only thing I like more than the 3-sectional bow staff are butterfly knives. Those are always cool. They took the time to put foot emblems on the train. Like, they decorated it with their feet. You were saying about the hitboxes, Brandon?
Yeah, it just it's got a very weird, up down kind of feel. So it's like, even if you're above or below the enemy, if you just swing with like Donatello or Leonardo. So you see like that, where on the left in the Hyperstone, he's right above him. He's not in front of him, but he's right above and below him, but he's still hitting him. So it's like a weird XY axis thing that you can avoid a lot of the attacks like that. You can stand right next to him and, well, that time he got hit, but for the most part, you can stand above or below him and they don't hit you with the missiles. as long as you're attacking, you'll hit them above and below you. So it was a little weird, instead of like in front of you. But I guess you can't be perfect with that whole how you're hitting them or swinging because it's 2D-ish.
It's a 2D game.
2D-ish.
Yeah.
So the 3 nunchucks, that's your favorite ninja weapon, huh?
I like the butterfly knives a little more, but I do love the 3-sectional bow. I can never use the 3-sectional bow staff. I don't even know. If you use a 3-sectional bow staff in a fight, like how, to what end? Like I don't understand.
Right.
I like how Leatherhead throws out little crawfish at you. They do like this little like crawfish. So does he have pink underwear? Leatherhead is like, how does that look at that? He's got like pink underwear.
He's just showing it off a little bit.
Is it a G-string? Because I'd have to go look at that crawfish. That's awesome. Because it goes around his tail, right? So
it's for protection because he's low to the ground. It's like a jock strap. If you're crawling on the ground, you don't want to hit your good pieces. So he's got it to protect himself. You gotta protect yourself, Rob. And that's why he wears a hat to keep him from getting.
Do you wear one when I make you do push-ups on the theme song? Do you wear a jock strap?
My belly keeps me.
Tater tots.
My belly keeps me already touching the ground. So
you just spin.
there's no I don't go down very far.
Right on the belly, just back and forth.
But as you can see, Leatherhead has his blossom hat on to protect him from the sun. So he's prepared for all things. He doesn't want to get sunburnt.
Don't know about the features on anybody's bed. I don't know the lyric that did it bad in it.
He's got his blossom hat on. It's very nice and cute. It's a sun hat.
Bury my shell at Wounded Knee. I don't think that's racially sensitive anymore.
No.
That's Wounded Knee. Oof. Some of these level names wouldn't pass today's standards.
Some things don't hold up.
I do like this Future City Akira level they're going to. This is the Neon Knight Riders. Yeah, this is the hoverboard level. And they did like mode 7. This is dope. Now the Genesis could have done something like this. They could have faked it because remember Sonic 2 had that tubes where you could like the first person
left or right.
Yeah, there could have been something they could have.
This might be, one of my favorite levels too. It's just fun, to be on the board. You're moving left and right. I definitely would not use Raphael. I would have used Leonardo or Donatello just because, you don't get much range of motion. Like this guy's getting his butt kicked, because Raphael's got his arms look short and tiny. They're held in, so you're not getting much range here. And like I said before earlier, those damn mousers, man, they kick your ass more than any of them because they're just so quick and chompy, and they just want to bite your turtle butt.
They never came out with the toy of that, the helicopter.
No.
With the Gatling, he's got a Gatling gun, dude.
He's got the 50 cal. He's all ready to go.
That would have made an awesome toy.
In all villain logic here, all 5 of them with their Gatling guns would have just stood there around him floating. They could have took him out, but
they make a good comic, Villain Logic.
Yes.
Just sitting around like a think tank. Look at Crank flying in the background doing all his Transwar Z.
Yeah.
He even has the same wings as Transwar Z. So already fighting, Super Shredder on the Hyperstone Heist.
Super Bus Shredder. Look at them quads.
Here's the thing, right? So on the Hyperstone Heist, he seals the Statue of Liberty, even on the tower, he seals the Statue of Liberty, and then he turns into Super Shredder, but Super Shredder is just like double the size. I felt like he should have used the stone to become a Kaiju Shredder, and then you gotta like merge with the Statue of Liberty, or like all 4 brothers in the Statue of Liberty, like Ghostbusters 2, and then fight Shredder as a Kaiju. You know what I mean? Like that would have been
no, totally makes sense. I mean, I get it. It would have been epic just because everything in that game is supposed to be shrunk and bigger and stuff. So yeah, it would have been cool. Even if he was, just double the size. And if you're just fighting this giant
Rob's
Shredder.
Just saying this shit because he's 40 years old. No, I was saying all this stuff I'm just letting you know the conversation I had at this time. annoying the fuck out of my friends. Like, can you just enjoy the game for what it is? Why are you always talking about what it could be? Like, I'm like, but dude, you're just
Baby Sheldon over here, the most.
I really was. I was the guy who that was the thing. Like, I could come up with ideas. I mean, like every time I would do this, I'm like, and then what if you could do this? What if you could do that? You know, it's not beyond the scope of what they're already doing.
No.
Meanwhile, developers, as I make games now, I'm like, shut up, dude. Stop giving ideas. Like, that's not actually true. Like, I do know now in development, like those sorts of things are. Look at that! They killed Shredder by knocking him off a building. Those sorts of things are welcome. Like he spills out the gems. Let's see what happens. Did they do anything? So it's 3 hyperstones, and that's it. That's a shame. See.
I like how Splinter's just hanging out in the crowd on the left.
Wait for it. He's gonna have this great expression you're gonna love.
This giant rat just chilling.
Yeah, he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Now, I'm willing to bet these games cost the exact same. Because I only rented Hyperstone, and Turtles in Time was a gift from my buddy. Look at him. Look at the shredder. What's up?
Hey.
It doesn't even say Hyperstone Hive.
Hey, you turtle. Look at those creepy ass looking turtles. Look at Raphael. You guys dead ass save New York, yo.
Look at the size of their feet and legs to their heads, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Hey.
And if you're watching this video yourself, the music is from the Turtles Coming Out of Our Shells tour, which was this concert they did live. Really, really crappy.
I went to it. I went to it when I was, I want to say I was 7 or 6. I mean, I was 6 or 7. I was young, and I was decked out in my gear and everything. I went to the concert. April got captured by the flood.
So they're on Mars. They should be fighting Triceratons right there.
Oh yeah, perfect time
without a doubt. So yeah, my father did security for Pizza Hut, for this local Pizza Hut. So they gave us all their leftover Turtles Coming Out of Our Shells merch because no one gave a shit. So I literally had 4 or 5 cases of those cassette tapes, and I would just constantly give them for friends' birthdays and gifts, and people were like, they would get all mad at me. Stop! Like come Valentine's Day, everyone got a copy of that cassette
tape. Yeah, if you still have that, and it's still, if it was still in like wrapping, you could probably sell that for a pretty penny right now.
For nothing.
I bet it's worth at least $200.
No. Now see, now when they materialize on the Technodrome, now they got a little like materialization effect on the Super Nintendo. Didn't have that on the Genesis. So they are materializing. They probably just couldn't draw the sprites.
I stand corrected. You can get it used on eBay for $9 to $12, $15 at the most.
That's being generous.
Yeah.
I like how there's just a giant fucking iron ball hanging around there. Delicate ecosystem on that space station where if it cracked the glass, they'd all die.
Well, they're all robots, so it wouldn't matter, right?
Right.
They'll just march out into space. Watch out for those giant medicine balls, Raphael.
Is there anything missing from this game that you would have liked, Brandon? Turtles in Time or Hyper? Is there anything like you were like, they missed the I mean, there's no Casey Jones, so let's just
right. I would have liked going through like New York more, like the buildings or the train station or just something more New Yorky, because when I was a kid and I was looking at Turtles, it's all like in New York and stuff, and I live in Arizona, I live in the desert. Tall buildings like that were just, I was like, wow, this is crazy. Buildings are tall. They have bridges. You go over water on a bridge. So I know this isn't, I know. I live in the desert.
Water on a bridge.
When I first, real quick, when I first went to like visit you in San Diego and we went over that one bridge to go to the bowling alley. Yeah. I was like, oh my, like I was like not scared, but I was like, holy shit, we're on this giant bridge above water. Like, if we go over this, we're done. And you were just hauling ass on it like it was nothing. I was like, oh my God, this is not what I'm used to growing up in the desert. So I like the New York City stuff in the game, and I like that, and the tall buildings and things like that. So I just always thought that was cool. I know in time, but when they were on that first level, when you're on that bridge, and you see the scope of the city, I'm like, wow, that's what it must be like to be on a bridge that you see in the movies, like Spider-Man, all them things. It's like that's what it's like to be on a bridge and you see the city lights. So, Arizona, we got some tall buildings, but everything's flat and desert out here. So, a couple mountains. So I like that, and I thought that was cool. And that was always a thing I liked about Turtles, is they were in areas that I never would go, the sewers and the things like that. So I thought that was cool.
I crawled in a pipe once to get into like a drainage, thinking there might be like ninja hideouts. This is true in the 7th grade. And all I got was really, really fucking horrifically covered in God knows what that is.
Right.
Spiders.
Did you have to get a tetanus shot after, or
Luckily,
what?
no. Look how small Shredder's hand blades are. That
Oh,
always
they're
annoyed
tiny.
me.
Oh,
Yeah.
little baby blades.
Yeah, that annoyed me. I like that Krang ship, though. I like how colorful it is.
Yeah.
It reminds me
I
of
like
like the Pop-a Bubble. This was like a game board back in the 90s where you pop the bubble and there would be like a little die in there, dice. You pop the
It bugs
bubble.
me that this guy didn't go get the pizza when he's running low on life. Like,
Right?
just go. Like,
To
he's not.
critique his gameplay.
Yeah, I just, as a gamer, it's like you get low on your life, you revive yourself, so you can keep going strategically wise. So, and it's also bugged me. Raphael is my favorite character by far. I have him tattooed on my forearm, but you got to use Donatello and Leo in this game. And the fact that I keep seeing Leo blinking at the top right, I'm like, someone pick up an extra controller, please. Tag him in to play Leo.
Well, I'm definitely getting the arcade one-up, arcade and Turtles in Time Cap. So whenever you come up here, we'll do a Donatello and Leonardo run.
Yeah. The Turtles in Time, it stays fast paced. I mean, they both do, but like, I really love the pacing of Turtles in Time to the point where like it doesn't repeat. There's all the different scenes are at least different in some way compared to Hyperstone. It's just repetitive. But Turtles in Time has a good thing of changing it and keeping it fast paced. So I really like that a lot.
I like how Shredder's just, what's his arms doing? He's like,
No.
It's almost like he's got those flex, those flex with the springs.
Yeah.
Where you like,
He's trying to catch up to his. See, what you don't understand is, since this one came out first, he's now starting to work out and get his muscles going for Hyperstone.
He's working out to become Super Shredder.
This is his before, okay, Rob? This is before he joins the gym and really gets his game together.
He's Billy. What was that guy who did Tybo?
Billy Blanks.
Billy Blanks, getting his Billy Blanks going.
That's right.
Billy Blanks gets Shredder in shape.
This is back in the day. He bought the VHS tapes. He's got the VHS tapes going, so he's all ready. The Technodrome. Did you ever have the Technodrome toy? The giant globe?
Nah, man. We only had Turtles toys in my house because my mom bought them for my brother. He got sick. And I was a Turtles fan. She took me to the store to get all the, which ones are the best? I'm like, these ones. That's great. She made me pick them all out and then gave them to my brother.
Oh, trauma.
Trauma. She gave all of her money to my brother when she died, Brandon. It's just a running gag in my family.
At least she was consistent, okay?
Yeah. I tell you, I
life.
value consistency above all else.
You do.
Now here's where, so you see that Statue of Liberty in the background. This is where, after they're fighting this Super Shredder, he should like break open the Hyperstones, and he becomes a giant Shredder, like Kaiju Shredder, and then you become become the fucking Statue of Liberty, or you pilot the Statue of Liberty, however you want to do it.
I do like, though, the whole mystic arts thing they got going on here with the whole teleports, flames, Hadouken.
Yeah, they never had them use ninja magic, or Shredder use ninja magic in the movies or anything,
Right.
I like that.
Which I think is a big missed opportunity with the new Michael Bay stuff. They could have went.
Do you want to start with that? Is that where you want to start?
No.
With missed opportunities? I like how he throws that fireball, that flame that goes across the floor.
Now, would you rather watch the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movie on repeat for one whole day, or the Hyperstone game on repeat for one whole day?
Hyperstone. Because
No
I could look
question.
at it and it brings back happy memories. I have no happy memories of the Michael Bay. None of it.
Yeah.
I don't think the Hyperstone Heist is a bad game. If you only had the Genesis, I mean, I'll take it. It's fun.
Right.
The thing is, it's just it was clearly done with minimal budget, and I don't. That is not the developers. It's not the that's just
So
Konami just was like, hey, let's just crank some shit out on that platform for
yeah,
Christmas or
on
whenever
the
it came
on
out.
the right you have Coca-Cola. On the left you got RC Cola.
No, you got the President's Choice. You remember that? That was like the
Yeah.
25 cent sodas. I like how you just knock Shredder over the side. Ooh, that's fun.
We committed murder.
Again,
Yeah.
all right.
They're like, he's like, hey, all right, good thing I destroyed that shredder robot. And
Splinter looks
Splinter's like,
awesome.
nah, bro, that was a real human. Oh shit, it's okay.
It'd be
Can't get
funny if he had
charged
his
for.
crumpled up corpse. He's like, now, now we decorate our lair
Yes.
with. They wrap his body around their Christmas tree and celebrate.
So even though you beat it, Splinter's still giving you shit like, hey man, hard mode or it didn't happen, and that's it.
See, he didn't beat it on hard, so the
No.
only difference is, you don't get this question mark. So, and that's about that. One could say, hey, if you wanted to play the game twice, you could play it faster, but I don't know. I don't know if that equates to being a better
Right.
run. They both, and that turtle's opening is cool. Never gets old. Never gets old. All right, so that's all we got. Brandon, final thoughts on all this stuff? Like replaying through it. Is there anything
If
we
you
missed?
it no, if you can play the Turtles in Time version, that's all I'm recommending.
I think
Just
everyone knows that. I mean,
everyone
I
knows
think
that.
few people played the Hyperzone Heist. If you're gonna play it, just play it with the friend. And my advice is, every time you fight, make a drinking game out of it. Like every time you refight an enemy, shot. Like,
Right.
okay, only on the yellow guys. Shot. Like
Yeah. Or at the end of the level, whoever killed the most bad guys, the other guy has to do something. No? Okay. Just me. Got it.
yeah, whoever has the least amount of points has to take a shot. There's got to be a way to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with either. Like the Sega, I had a Sega and a Super Nintendo, so I don't care. They're both a letdown because they only let you play with two characters. My real only complaint, considering both when I was younger, was I want to fight as Casey Jones. You know,
Yeah.
and they never gave me that option except for the fighting game on the Genesis, which is my favorite because you could use. I'm a Casey guy, man. Like, how cool would it be if I could use Casey and you could use Raph, or Donnie if you're a fan of the movie Donnie, but it was
Oh
Raph and
yeah,
Casey.
I'm all for it.
Yeah, and with Casey, then you could use guns and you know what I mean, like and melee weapons, melee weapons, however that's pronounced. So whatever. Out of a score of 64 Van Dams, what do you give Turtles in Time, Brandon?
I give it a 58.
58 Van Dams. That's pretty good. And out of 64 Van Dams for Hyperstone Heist?
12.
Ooh, come on.
No, I give it a 30. I give it a 30.
12.
It's just if I went and I bought if they offered the Turtles in Time on the Switch, which I have right now, I would buy it in a heartbeat. I would buy it right now and I'd play the hell out of it. And I would tell everyone to play it. Hyperstone, I'd be like, well, if it's on sale for like $3, I'm down. I guess so. I guess so. But
if it's on
the
sale,
yeah, the Turtles in Time one. If they put that on the Switch, I'm buying it. I'm buying it that day. They could be like, well, it's $60. I'll be like, okay, and here's my $60. I'm down for that. Like, there's some games that they just do it for you. They bring you back to your memories. They they're just cool. They stood out in life, and there's a lot of games like that. And some games, when they try to remake them when you get older, they just don't hold up, and they just don't have the fun, and they don't stand the test of time. And this game, I think, does. I could put any kid right now, maybe 8, 9 years old. Well, they'll play Fortnite, but
Any kid.
most kids,
I could put any kid.
If they play this, they would enjoy it. If they're not used to like Fortnite type thing. If a kid just wants to play a cool Turtles game, this would be cool. It's hard nowadays, because there's Fortnite and things like that. But back in my day, this was the bee's
I've always
knees.
had a dream, Brandon, since 1992 or 3, around there, to do a comic book series called the Konami. I call it the Konami Universe, but now we call it Konamiverse, right?
Uh-huh.
Where you did an adaptation of the arcade game, Turtles in Time, or Hyperstone Heist, whatever. Turtles in Time. Oh, sorry, Turtles, the arcade game, Turtles 3, the Manhattan Project, right? That was the Manhattan Project.
Mm-hmm.
Turtles in Time. And then do a 4th book with my ideas for... I would do a City at War. Like where you had to split up. Like, I always felt like it would be great if they made another 2D brawler game, but without the limitations of sprites and color and everything else, where you have half the group going to Dimension X, where you got to like team up with Shredder to save Krang, and maybe
Right.
the Triceratons are fucking up all the universe, and then meanwhile you got to cut back to New York and save New York from that imminent attack, and you use like Casey Jones and maybe Splinter or April and then one of the other turtles, where you get like a
Right.
roster of characters you could choose. Like, that's been in my head since high school.
All right.
This is how I would spend detention, just thinking this shit up, never focusing on learning my lessons.
The reasons you're in there.
Right. This is what I would do. I just come up with all these ideas for games and then never figure out how to actually make them. But that's my dream. One day I'll get to pitch that to IDW, and they'll be like, "Stop calling us, Rob."
Lose our number.
Yeah, please lose our number. Go fucking play your games. That's it. That's all I got, folks. Brandon, do you want to say anything else before we head out of here?
Can we do a Turtles Power on 3?
Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Turtle Power!
I'm not doing that. All right, we're out of here. Bye.
You're not cool.
That's it. That's all the show. Brandon, can you eat just a little bit more of that hot sauce?
Shit,
Lava sauce.
fine. All right. Here we go. Let me put a little more on this.
Cutting out the show. Here we go.
Oh, shit. Fuck.